Let's move on to our final topic for the evening. I see there's a lot of interest on this in the comments, and that is NCB. So let me just share screen and show you what NCB has been looking like these past couple of days. This is data courtesy My Money JA. So here we are ending trading today at $36.46. We're seeing a large dip here on July 4th, so that's Friday to Monday, a pretty big dip over the past couple of days. And we see that they've been trading in the $50 and $40 range, and then now all of a sudden this dip to the $30 range. And I'm not seeing a significant spike in volumes traded over that same period. So, what on earth is going on with the NCB stock price, David?
Bring up the candlestick chart to kind of show people the price trading. But what I was going to point out as well was supply and demand, Kalila. In this case, there were more shares being sold than demanded yesterday, which would have influenced the decline in the price. So, just as a reminder, if there's more supply than demand, the price goes up. There's more demand than supply, the price goes down. So you would have seen, just around, I think it was probably 9:30 or 10:20 around that time yesterday. You'd have seen this massive sell order, like I think 400,000 or 500,000 units at $35. And then a couple of minutes later, it halted down to $32. And later in the day, you saw some big buy orders come in the queue on the bid side. I remember seeing that 227,000 units bid at $37, and it was cleared around like 135 or 140. So you saw an increase in selling pressure yesterday as NCB FG in this case broke that technical mark of $40, or should I say support and of $40. So NCB that traded at $39, I think, within the last 2 weeks, it was holding steady around the $40 support mark. Once it broke the $40 support mark, and if you're present for technical analysis, it traded down, in this case, to a new technical low, which is $32. So if you actually look at the queue itself right now, and you scroll down, you're going to see a lot of orders, like 500,000, 200,000 unit orders on the buy side at $31 and $32 now, which is the new support area. And what you've also seen is you've seen more persons based on the stock halting on yesterday, moving to sell their shares today and bringing down their sell orders further down on the sell side, bringing down the price. So you had a decline in buy orders or demand on the buy side. Yeah, this massive sell order came and cleared the queue out, stock halted down, and the market psychology has shifted as a result. So you're seeing more orders shift down to a new support area of $32. At the same time, you're seeing the sell orders adjust downwards as well to the 39.37 region. And I think NCB is on about 20% year to date on the JSE, and it's actually fallen out of the $100 billion market cap club. So Scotia, Sagicor Group, Massey Holdings are now the only remaining companies part of that exclusive $100 billion market cap club on the JSE, which is insane because back in 2019, NCB was around $225 per share to a market cap more than $400 billion J, which, I think that, I don't remember what amount is in USD at the time, but it was the large company JSE represented about 25% of the overall market cap, and now it's only representing 5% of the overall JSE market cap, and it's below $100 billion. And when I did the checks on Monday, NCB value is like $70.60 based on March's financials. So the stock is trading at half of its book value. I don't remember the PE right now, but based on the Thomas sale from Guardian, it's probably the price earnings is probably less than 5 times right now. And the fundamentals are there, but they're probably just other external factors that are affecting the stock price. Somebody has been sending me stuff from Trinidad speaking about NCB Financial Group's recent efforts on a $300 million bond raise. And, it was announced last month. We haven't heard updates about it. And persons are probably getting a little bit jumpy based on that, boundaries and the lack of updates as a result of it.
So, bottom line, David, is it something to be concerned about as a shareholder or investor?
It depends on which side of the coin you're on. If you're a shareholder and you're as a person who's leveraged, it might be comfortable for you because at $2 annualized dividend payout, assuming no breaks, you're talking about a dividend that's above 5% on a financial stock. Country's largest endemic bank has one of the largest insurance companies as a subsidiary in the region as a subsidiary. And the reality is we're just watching and seeing what's the next step, for NCBFG because they, would have sold Toma through Guardian. They were trying to sell Clara, it didn't go through, along with the sale of NCB came and not going through as well, but still a relatively big financial conglomerate, still have a lot of legroom to grow and expand. But I think, NCBFG, similar to Tropical, just needs to update the public as to the developments that have been taking place with the stock and everything else in between because as someone said, when you over communicate, speculation doesn't have room to thrive. When there's silence, rumors go abound and just take shape because it's been a month, Kalila. It's like about $300 million US bond raised to refinance debt, and we've not heard anything from NCFG as to the status of that bond raise. So, in this case, persons are making their own assumptions.
Yeah, yeah. But also, the fact is, and like you said, the communication is an issue, but NCB is still a company that's making money. They're still they're still making significant revenue, but the stock price isn't reflecting their performance.
And one thing people need to remember is that a cheap stock price might seem attractive to some people, but for other persons, it has significant implications. So, for example, let's look at Mayberry Jamaican Equities, for example. They pledged NCB Financial Group, for their bond last year, listed bond, and I think the time price was around $61. It's at $36 right now, almost half of the price that pledged last year. That impacts capital coverage ratio for the MJE bond itself, and the persons who would have borrowed against the stock itself, regular investors, they might be facing margin calls if the price goes any lower. And don't forget that NCB Financial Group, is still a large constituent in the lower JSE index, so the decline in the price has a more outsized impact on the JSE index, which is around, I think it was at 312,000 points closing yesterday, but at one point of the day was at 309,000. So there is an impact, to the decline in NCB stock price, to the index, to the unit trusts, to the pension funds, and all the other investors that have significant exposure to the overall stock. You're trading at $50 when you started, I think, and it's at $36 right now. So a lot of funds, and in this case, investors are feeling the impact of that declining price. So let us see if it goes back to the $40 support region or it finds this new trading band between 32 and 40. Either way, it's pretty tough for investors because 2 years ago it was $70, now it's 36.
Half,
Let,
half what
let's,
it was not
let's
too
look at the
long
comments
ago.
before we finish because I realize it's a pretty hot topic.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments. Let me see if I can find some of them. A lot of them were about this very topic. Rob says, "Fall, baby, fall." Chairman said, "Lots of people want to buy NCB at the current price."
Then buy
Tavares
it if you want.
Tavares says, "Price is going down because someone is selling and another is buying." So, do you have buyers? And Christopher says, "Never imagined I would see NCBFG trading at 35 JMD."
Well, let's look at it this way, Kalila. If you want it in 2015 at $35, you have a chance today to buy that $35 yourself. Isn't that what we always talk about? Be greedy when others are fearful.
And fearful when others are greedy.